Okay, so I'm going to show you how these one-way slides can fail if you use the wrong type of slide or you're making them yourselves and you're doing it wrong. So this particular slide, the problem is that we've got a big gap here, vertical gap between this bar and the bottom of the coil, and then it's also kind of long. Okay, so when you've got a big gap and the coils are out long like this, the stop ring can feed through, the pressure can unwind it. So I'll show you kind of how it works. You slide your bait. Let's say we're sliding a live Ninui. You know, this thing is kind of moving around like this in the surf. The waves are pumping, you know, the current's going. So all it takes, and it's not hard, is for this stop ring to kind of back feed some, just like that. Once it gets into this position, you know, with the Ninui or whatever, okay, once you get a little bit of pressure, and I'm not even pushing that hard, it's already in the coil. See that? It's already in the coil already. Once it's in this position and the fish continues to move around your live bait or the current or whatever, it can easily just, I mean, it just takes like a nudge. Like just, I can just tap this thing and it goes through. Show you how it can completely unwind. So basically it just keeps going because it's a coil. It's like a corkscrew. So once it gets in the first one, you apply the right pressure, the right angle, it's just going to keep back feeding. Once you get into this last coil, it can go right out. There you go. Now your slide is off, it corkscrewed off, and sometimes this thing can completely be gone. And making sure that the gap here is small and then these coils are a lot tighter. This gap should be smaller. And other people, I can actually confirm this has happened with uluas and sharks that I've caught. And it was a result of using store-bought or poorly designed slides that don't accommodate for these tolerances. So it does happen. I mean, it doesn't take much, and it tends to happen more with live bait because I think the bait is swimming around like this, you know, it's moving around. It's not just hanging, you know, like this, like taco legs, right? Kupripi, Ninui, that thing is moving, that thing is swimming. So when it does that, as soon as that stop ring goes right there, as soon as it's right there, it doesn't, if that thing at all comes forward like that, once it's into that position, boom, it starts feeding through already. And it just keeps feeding as long as you have pressure. It just keeps feeding. Now I'm halfway through. Yeah, I'm halfway through now. So it keeps feeding, okay, until this thing is totally out. And you just push it all the way through. And it can either go down, and of course the lead line would be broken, right? So you wouldn't have a lead line right here, right? So upon strike, this would be gone, right? Your lead line broken, boom, there goes the fish, there goes your slide. And you can come back with this. And I've actually taken shark strikes, and I've actually lost 1 or 2 uluas where all I get is this. And I've talked to people where all they get is this back. And that's because this slide, the way it was designed. So you want to look for a small gap right here. So when you're buying one or making one, just take your stop ring, okay? Put it up next to it. See if you can fit it in there. You know, see if it'll like go towards the opening. See if it'll pull through. If it pulls through like that, that's too big. Okay, if it can pull through like that. Okay, if it's smaller gap, smaller coils. See, let's just take this same slide and let's pinch it. Let's make this gap. You see how much harder it is for that stop ring to go through? It takes way more force to get that thing in. It still can kind of go, but it takes more force. That's why I like the height of this coils to be a lot shorter. I don't like a big gap here on the bottom. So it should be shorter and the coils a little tighter, a little more narrow. Okay?